Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander. Welcome to my basement for opening weekend of the movie that everyone remembered was coming out and then forgot. And then it was like, wait, is that supposed to come out? And then it finally is. It's here now, y'all. Avatar 2, The Way of Water. And I'm exhausted. And why I'm exhausted will make sense later when it all comes out. As always, I just tried to give you a few thoughts so that you can have a better idea, form an opinion about whether you want to spend your money and your time and in these lives that we live, your health, going to a theater or waiting until it comes out on streaming. And the answer to that is quickly, maybe, kinda. That is my theme for this movie. Kinda. So as non-spoilerly this section as possible. Avatar 1, when you left the theater, very few people went, that was great, that was an amazing story. No. It was all about the CGI and the graphics because they were amazing and cutting edge. And even now, they're still great. And also it made 3D exciting and not gimmicky. There's only two movies I have seen in 3D. Avatar was one of them, and then Rise of the Guardians is the other one. Because Rise of the Guardians 3D is amazing. The sand falling and the tooth fairies flying. Great. That's what Avatar for me, though, is. It's all about the visuals. And that's exactly what Avatar 2 is. It's all about the visual. Because the story, I will get to the story later. But the trailers gave away nothing of the plot. It's a basic plot. What is this movie about? So after Avatar, the events of Avatar, Na'vis kick the Earthlings, most of them, except for the scientists, off the planet. So everyone's just kind of living, creating families, having lives like you do. And then the Earthlings decide to come back and annihilate everything. Why? Because the Earth is dying and they need a new place to live. So what better way to go about that? To go to a foreign planet and obliterate everything. Yeah, it's gonna go well. So Jake rallies the Na'vi to fight against the Earth people. And of course, so the Earth people's big plan is to bring back Colonel Quidditch, Colonel Dude, yeah, to come and get rid of Jake. Just Jake. The whole mission is Jake. That's it. They're getting out. So the Sullys then flee their home to protect their people and end up in the water world. And that's why we're in the water world now, is because they've gone to the water tribes. That's the basic plot of the story. It's 3 hours and 12 minutes long. Does it need to be 3 hours and 12 minutes long? Not at all. In the slightest. There was parts, I don't know how far into it was, but I could see people in the theater pull out their phones. And several times during the movie. Afterwards, I wait till the end of the credits. Credits immediately start to roll. People are heading out. Nobody was excited. Nobody was energized. People were just out the door. And I could hear the couple of people that were in the hallway still when I left. I can hear them saying, well, I kind of like this. And that's my theme for this whole movie is kind of. Hands down, visually, it is a visual movie. You will want to go see it because of the visuals. It looks pretty. There's some action sequence in it that kind of, for me, come a little late. And then while they're there, it's like they're there and they go on forever. Only because it seems to me it's because they can do it. Look what we can do. Look what we can blow up. Look what we can do this. But it doesn't really add anything to the story. It just draws it out. The acting, it's hard to say for me if the acting was good because you can't see the actors. You can almost say it's an animated feature because everybody is animated So it's mostly voice work? So was the voice work good? Because I know it's live caption. But you can't really tell because the proportions are not human. So for me, you don't get that human element necessarily to it. I'm seeing the credits and I see Kate Winslet's in it and I was like, what? Really? Where? Didn't notice. So I guess the acting was good. And I think that's part of why the CGI is maybe too much, because knowing what they went through to film those scenes underwater, but did they have to go to that extent when it looks like they just did it all computer generated and it wasn't really done? When you think about it, that's a really weird concept. Was it worth having them go through all that production for something that looks as if somebody sat at a computer and just put it together themselves over several years? That's super sad. Oh my God, how depressing is that thought? It's like the AI art thing now, where it's like people create the art and then you just say a few things and a computer creates it all for you. Huh. Wow. Okay. I did go see this in 3D because I knew that's why this movie pretty much exists, is for the visuals. And I've learned things about myself, which is I don't really care for 3D. It's almost too real and I can't focus on what's happening because it's not laid out in front of me where I can see the whole picture at once. It's different depths, so my eyes are focusing on different things. And then something's floating and I'm thinking, oh, what's on my glasses? And oh no, it's the ash or seaweed or something is floating in my vision. So it physically makes me exhausted. Another reason. So 3 hours of that, my eyes are tired, my brain hurts. And so now I know that about myself with 3D. So if you ever find, I would be interested to know if that's how you feel as well. I would actually be interested to know what other people have thought of this film, because I have a feeling it's going to be polarizing. So where this movie really loses me is in the story. In order to give you some examples of why I feel this certain way, why my opinion is based as such, I'm going to have to go into spoilers. So here's some spoilers. Story's a mess. There's things that happen that make no sense why it happens. And it also happens to hit a lot of my pet peeves. So many of my story pet peeves were in this movie that I started laughing partway through it because I'm like, oh my gosh, here's another one. Biggest pet peeve. And if you've watched my reaction videos, you know what it is. TSTL. Too stupid to live. It comes back and bites some of these kids in the ass. When you have a character who continues to make poor choices, it makes me ragey. And especially when it's a younger character. So now you've got these teenager characters who keep doing I know what I'm doing. I got it. Can't tell me what to do. And they continue to make poor choices. And those poor choices put other people's lives at risk. Hate it. I hate that. I hate it so much. And it kept happening, especially in this one, because the characters never seem to learn their lesson, ever, at all, until some of them die. So pet peeve number 1. And 2, I guess you could say it's 1 and 2. Too stupid to live. And they never learn the lesson. And it's the younger character with just that arrogance that is not charming, and it doesn't make me root for their success. And if this is your hero protagonist characters, you want me to root for their success for me to keep watching. My opinion, that's just my opinion. That is my pet peeve, personally. Another one, so the story choices it was almost as if they said, okay, let's give these characters 2 choices. One is ridiculously stupid, and the other one, it makes more sense. And each time they had them pick the ridiculously stupid, to the point where, again, people in my audience, I can hear them go, that's not what you want in your audience. So another pet peeve is things were happening because the story creator wanted them to happen, not because it made sense logically. So the Earthlings have come to Earth, come to Pandora. They're there for a year. And sure, you've got Edie Falco, the general, saying, we have these machines that can build a building in 6 days. Cool. The amount of things they had. Now, maybe we just didn't see all the little space hoo-has that dropped. So sure, maybe they had the equipment to build so much, but in a year, they have these crafts and they've come up with a way to hunt these sacred whales for whatever's in their brain. So when they knew that was there, it was a thing, they've developed a system to do it. They've got this, and they just like, what? And then why is that here at all in the story? Because somebody wanted it to be there. Sure. Again, you couldn't come up with another antagonist. You had to bring back Colonel What's-His-Butt. That was not one of my least favorite parts of the first Avatar. Now you're bringing him back as a clone, as an avatar to fight, to just bring down, they bring all these guys just to bring down Jake. Why couldn't it have been a new antagonist? But okay, there's the thin thread between him and Miles Spider there, his son. Or the Colonel's son, not the Avatar's son. See why I'm tired? This is why I'm tired. So their whole mission is to get Jake, because he's leading the resistance. So Jake and his family bug out for months. It seems like they're there for months because water tribal lady, pregnancy grows, have no idea what her gestation period is, but it's significant, I would guess, for a baby to grow. So while Jake and his family are gone, Colonel What's-His-Name has no idea where he is. That's his only mission. So the rest of the Na'vi, they're not fighting Earthlings? Is the resistance done now that Jake's gone? And then we got the whole whaling crew. Big battle fight scene, which was the most exciting part, truthfully, of the whole film for me was, because again, if you watch my videos, you know, Crazy Pants action sequence just make me laugh because of what goes into creating them. So did it go on too long? Yes. But was it interesting? Sure. Just because their whole success to that point of these Na'vi tribes was that you had this giant whale-like creature fling its body onto the ships. That's just, okay, sure, okay. Best part of the film, which is because it was so banana boats. But okay, so the ships are, and the bad guys are all dead or in the water or in life preservers, whatever. So you're still calling Jake out, still saying, okay, if you don't come, I'm going to kill your kids. Right. Okay. So if you get him, what are you going to do with him? Your ship's destroyed. I think pretty much your communication system is crap. You're in the middle of what's going to be for you a hostile environment. What's your plan? I mean, it was just little things like that. Now, for me, who likes to have things, even if they're crazy, make logical sense, these were just crazy and just, they were there because somebody creative-wise wanted it to be there. And that's, again, one of my pet peeves. So, so long story short, that's why I'm exhausted. It was over 3 hours long, and there's just scenes in there that were just there to be pretty, which is fine once or twice, but oh my gosh, it just continued and continued and continued, and then you get an audience of people around you pulling out their phones. So, is it worth going to see in the theater? If you love special effects and you love CGI and you like seeing pretty things in 3D, yes, go see Avatar 2, The Way of Water in the theater. If that's not rocks your boat, feel free to miss it. Feel free to read a synopsis. Apparently we're going to get sequels. They did leave it as a sequel. Again, why? Makes no logical sense. Why they left it open as a sequel. They had every opportunity to button it up, but they didn't because, again, story creator wanted a sequel. I hope it's not 3 hours long. because it's just more of the same. It's just more of the same. So there you go. I hope that gave you some information, some insight. It's the holiday season. How do you want to spend it? So I'm thankful that you have spent this 5-10 minutes with me, because I do appreciate it so much, especially if you hit subscribed and you've been a friend of the channel before. Thank you so very much. So again, have a good weekend. Y'all take care of yourself, stretch your bodies, and come back and see me. So until next time, y'all.